Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Behind the Screens with me, Educate, content creator on Cameroon Tech News, your number one tech news blog in Cameroon. During the 2021 edition of Developers Festival in Boya this January, we actually caught up with one of our beautiful tech ladies who has found her clique in the tech scene. If this is the first video you're watching on this channel, please note that Behind the Screen series tells stories of techies who are always working behind the computer screens. Now is the time for you to see those amazing fingers and faces making magic behind the computer screens. You can follow us on Facebook at Cameroon Tech News and also read our stories on educateinc.com. So today, let's discover an electrical and electronics engineer who says her involvement in the Silicon Mountain community gave her the exposure, the skills, and courage to be where she is today. Yes, I'm talking about Ishi. She has traveled to over 5 countries in less than 3 years and has found her space in aerospace space. Funny, right? Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Lily.
Hi everyone, my name is Lily Asongfac. I am an electrical and electronics engineer. I got my degree from the University of Boya, the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, and right now I'm working in a space company called Space Hero. I've been passionate about space for a very long time, and being an engineering student at the time when I was still in school gave me the exposure that I needed to show me what is possible. And then I went back to my old passion and my old love, did some research, and I would say being part of communities like tech communities like the ones that are here in the Silicon Mountain, like DevC, the Google Developers Group, Women Tech Makers, especially for ladies, is really important because you see ladies achieve things and you're like, oh, if they can do it, then I can do it, even if it's not necessarily in the same field, but there is just this world of possibilities that you get exposed to when you're part of a community. So honestly, I'll say persistence, right? But before being persistent, you have to identify what you're passionate about. So you have to know your niche, and from there you try to grow in that space. And once you grow, or once you're still in the process of growing, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be the best yet, but you have to be willing to try out things. By trying out, I mean submitting applications, any opportunities that you see, you try it out. I mean, I received so many rejections, and I mean, when all this glory happens, most people are like, oh, maybe she just sat and got those opportunities. But honestly, it's hard work, and when you see opportunities, you actually make sure you apply for them, and do not be afraid. You never know.
So which country did you visit first in your career?
So honestly, my first time getting on a plane that flies was when I was going to Dubai. So in Dubai, there was the 28th UNIF workshop, which was organized by the United Nations Outer Space Committee, UNOSA, so United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, and they were organizing this event in partnership with the International Astronautical Federation. So this workshop, I got funding from the UN to attend this event. You know, they paid my flight, accommodation, and gave me some pocket allowance. So yeah, that's what took me there. So immediately after that event, there's an event that happens every year. It's the biggest space event that happens annually. It's called the International Astronautical Congress, IAC. So IAC was happening just a day after the workshop. So being funded by the UN, I was allowed to attend IAC because my UN ticket could get me into IAC, and it was really amazing attending this conference.
Yeah, before reaching this level, could you tell us the courses you did?
So before now, like before being exposed to all the travels and everything, I faced some challenges, mostly being a lady from Cameroon, a country that is not yet spacefaring. Like, we do not have a national space program or any space activities happening within the country. And having this passion, it would be easy to think it's impossible, because when you look around, you don't see anyone who has done these things. So I think that's the most challenge that I face, to find someone to coach me, because I'm like, oh, I want to do this, but I don't know exactly how to go about it. But on the bright side, the internet and social media really helped me a lot, because platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, I always went there to look for people, especially ladies. I don't know, I just feel like I connect more to the ladies. So especially ladies who are doing, who are within the space sector. And I also did searches like Cameroonians in the space industry, and I found a few who are not actually based in the country, and I connected with them, and I'm very glad that some of them were happy to help me out, to give me the guidance on what to do, how to develop the skills that are needed for this sector. So I would say the first one is to have been able to find space in the space sector, like to have representation of Cameroon in the space industry. And I would say the icing on the cake is the travels. But I'm very glad, because even though I do not exactly have like an aerospace engineering degree, the degree that I have, which is electrical engineering, sort of exposed me to the what do I say? Because there's something unique about the space industry which I didn't mention. Space actually has a place for everyone, irrespective of your background. Be it, you don't necessarily have to be an aerospace engineer or a space systems engineer. We have space lawyers. There are people from the economics background who are part of the space industry. There are accountants, there are journalists. The space industry or the space sector is really wide and has space for everyone. Well, like the word says, space. So yeah, I would say that's the most achievement that when I sit back and I'm like, whoa. So I'm actually doing this thing. Like some time ago, it felt like it will never happen. I mean, Cameroon we seem to have other priorities at the national level. So yeah.
It's really a satisfied tech woman.
Yeah, I am a satisfied tech woman. And let's highlight that I'm also, even though I'm still in the learning process, but I feel like it's achievable. Like where I want to be in the next 5 years, it's something that I can reach for and actually get it.
Good. How did you become a tech woman? Did you go to school? What did you do in order to become all of this?
Okay, so in high school I did sciences, physics, maths. I don't want to scare you with the other things like further maths, but I did sciences in high school, and at that time I wanted to be a doctor, because medicine, the medical field is prestigious. Well, we have grown in the African context to understand that medicine, is where everyone should be if they want to bring pride to their family. So I tried my hands around medicine. So I wrote a medical concours when I was fresh from high school. I wanted to be a dentist, but I didn't pass. And on the bright side, most times people don't talk about their failures. On the bright side, I was like, oh, okay, so what would I do? Well, I didn't know till when the results were out, but immediately after writing the medical concours, I heard about the engineering concours, which was on for FED. And I was like, well, I love math and physics. Let me just go and write this thing. Funny enough, I did not study because I was like, I'm just writing it, but I'll study for medicine because that is what I want to get. So I'll just go and have fun solving math and physics again. And I went and did that. And it happens that when the results were out, I passed engineering and did not pass medicine. So I got into engineering school. During the first year, I was like, well, I'm going to do this thing, and next year I'll go and try medicine again because I have to be a doctor. But the funny thing is, during the first semester, I was exposed to so many cool stuff. I was like, whoa, no, I'm not leaving. Yeah, tech is really exciting. It's amazing. And the beautiful thing about it is that it gives you, it sparks curiosity. It sparks innovation. So yeah, that's how I became a tech lady.
I'm sure there's a little girl somewhere in one village or somewhere that is going to get this video on social media, and probably she's interested in it. But maybe she's afraid. So, what do you have to say to her?
Okay, so I would say, as someone who was once a little girl like you, who grew up in a neighborhood in Kumba called Kusala, I would advise you to not be afraid of the subjects that people say are difficult. If you love it, try to develop yourself around it. Like, try to learn more, even in your quiet time. Try to get familiar with this topic, and do not be afraid to want to be an engineer. Do not be afraid to want to be an astronaut. Do not be afraid to want to do aerospace engineering, or to be a software engineer, to be a robotics engineer. Whatever it is that you want to become, it is possible. There are so many ladies all around the world who have faced the challenges that you face now, but they went above it. Like, they are triumphing above all odds. So I think that should be a very good way for you to understand that all of these things are not difficult.
So where's the next stop? Is it Ghana? US?
How did you know? Ghana.
Ghana it is there.
And then US. And then US.
Okay.
Amen.